Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson. I usually do this somewhat daily tarot and rune divination over on YouTube, but YouTube's been glitchy, and it might be on my end. I don't know, so I'm going to try it here, and then I'll just download it and upload it over on the YouTube page for Stepping Aside. I write the blog Stepping Aside. I'm also an author. If you want to go over to imsteppingaside.com and check out the blog, I'd love you to do that. Drink a little tea this morning. I haven't been up all that long. So Friday's always great because we're done with our irrigation for the week, and so we get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do as we please, which, you know, makes it sound like we actually have time on our hands. We really don't. Our home is pretty, the gardens in our home during the summertime are pretty involved. And so it takes a lot of watering and care and all that to do things. So to keep everything growing and everything. So in any event, how I do this is I shuffle a bit and then I count 13 and I draw a card. And then we talk about that for a little bit. And then I'll draw a rune and see if it can give us a little more information about the card that I drew. And so far I've been enjoying it anyway. I don't know if anyone else has. People are probably like, oh my God, put down the tarot deck. I look at divination methods as really more of an internal thing. I mean, sure, it can reflect the outside goings on in the world, but you know, the world exists because we create it every moment of our lives. So it's really coming from within each one of us in our shared hallucination of life. And so I think it all begins inside. So my interpretations tend to reflect an inner view of things. So, you know, instead of a bunch of betrayal from the outside, what are you doing to betray yourself, you know? So, and cause your own misery. So anyway, I think that's probably enough shuffling for my feeble hands. I did a lot of yard work yesterday, a lot of weeding, so they're kind of not working real well this morning. All right, let's count 13. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. Every witch has her number. Mine's 13. I was born on the 13th of October, and 13 has figured prominently in my life, so I count 13 when I'm doing a single card thing. Oh, well, goodness gracious. We have a court card. The queens really are my only favorite court cards, but it's the King of Pentacles. There he is in all his greenery. Pentacles is about material possessions. Here, let's go over here. Maybe go over here. Material possessions. I have to figure out how to do this over here. And the king, you know, a court card is going to reflect either the type of individual on the card. So a king would be someone with authority, a father figure, or it's going to reflect the values within, you know. The King of Pentacles, it could be called coins or discs and other decks. The traditional ones use pentacles, I guess. But this is always a really messy card. You really need to have light on it to see it, and I'm not in a very lit up room here. But you can see there's a castle off in the distance over here on the right. He kind of has kind of a dour look on his face. He's got an interesting throne. It looks like he's got a couple ram's heads up there. You know, so you think of the king as an Aries or an Aries man or a Mars man, maybe. But with Pentacles, you're thinking Earth. So, you know, you're thinking more of a traditional landowner or somebody like that. I'm using a magnifying glass to see some of the really intricate stuff. He's holding a scepter, and he's holding a pentacle. You know, a star within a circle. The star itself would be the pentagram within the circle. It's called a pentacle. And he's basically, you know, showing all of his wealth. You know, he's got a nice legacy, a life well lived. You know, so maybe we're thinking today about our legacy. Maybe we're thinking about building a legacy. Maybe, you know, we need to focus on that. Maybe we need to think about how we extend our power in the world. But the king is settled. The King of Pentacles is settled. You know, he's the guy who has taken time to think about his future and to plan for it and to take care of the family, and, you know, to be someone who contributes to the success of his own life and of life of his family, and in terms of someone like this, you know, his whole kingdom. So basically he's responsible and productive and, you know, good things like that. I mean, you know, let's see what the runes have to say. See where we're actually going with this king. And if that doesn't give us enough, then we'll draw another card like we did yesterday. Yesterday there just wasn't enough information, and then finally, you know, the other card did it. But the YouTube live stream just, I don't know, it muddied up, and I mean, you could hear me, but I was all blurry and the cards were blurry. It was not good. So I did a recap, and I didn't do it live. It was much shorter. So in any event, I let the runes, I make all my runes unless they're made of stone. Although I did find some nice small flat stones at the coast one time, and I was able to do some runes with those. But I don't carve into them or anything. So I just had to paint on them, and I don't like to do that. I'd rather actually wood burn. So I use different trees from around my property. This particular rune set that I'm using today is made from hawthorn. It's a witch and fairy tree, so you have to ask permission. I've done some wands out of them, and I've done this particular rune set, and I like it really well. It's not so big that it's cumbersome, but oh well. Hagalaz, we pulled this one the other day. And that's the I consider it the witch rune. It's change and transformation within a structure or positive framework. It reflects it's a Norn rune of the past, and basically it's telling us that there's going to be some transformation happening. That we're either going to do it. Usually it's because we're causing it, and typically. It's a water rune, and it's considered the cosmic ice egg. So what Hagalaz does is it causes transformation in preparation for change, but it does it without leaving lasting damage. So apparently, either we're about to do something to cause some positive change in our life, maybe towards building a legacy, you know, maybe we're thinking about that. That's kind of interesting. Usually I don't pull stuff like that for this, but let me see if there's something more on because it's the 9th rune of the Elder Futhark. So 9th but see, 9 sort of indicates completion. So maybe. Well, one thing I have in my little grimoire is that it crystallizes the life pattern. So maybe what we're talking about here really is just maybe putting the finishing touches on something that we're preparing for the future. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens today, to see if we do anything like that, or if any of you guys do anything like that, you know, put something in the comments and let me know what happened. But that's kind of interesting. You know what? I think I'm going to pull another card. Because I don't know if what this is really saying is that, you know, maybe we're doing something to protect our legacy. That's another thing that Hagalaz does. It's very protective. But it's a rune of change and, you know, manifested change. So I don't know. Maybe another card will help. Sometimes one card divinations don't give you everything. I did a 6-card one on the blog last night, which was nice. I used the Heindel Tarot. That is such a gorgeous deck. And I love that it has the I Ching on it. It has I Ching hexagrams on the small cards, on the minor cards. And they have runes, although he uses, I'm not sure which Futhark he uses. I use the Elder. And so his runes are a little bit different looking than mine. So I have to use a cheat sheet to figure out, you know, okay, which one are they talking about here? Because some of them do look very different. The Icelandic ones, the younger Futhark, some of them appear the same. One of them uses 2 lines on Hagalaz. I just use 1, you know, that comes across. So I don't know. I'm not sure what he's using. Just when I think I know, it's like, no, he's using something else. But the paintings, the depictions are gorgeous, and they're really, really interesting. Very non-traditional. Probably follows the titling and the ordering that Crowley used in the Thoth deck, but I don't know. That's what it seems like to me anyway. Because Crowley restructured it and changed some of the titles, and like Judgment is retitled Eon, and Heindel does the same thing. So, which I like that better. I don't like the word judgment. Nobody judges. That's an ego thing. I don't know why they ever did that. So let me try one more card, and we'll see what it says. My luck, it'll be another court card, another king. You watch. Oh, well, okay. So I think that this is definitely positive then, because this is the 4 of Wands, and I've said this before over on the YouTube thing. Let me go over here. I'm a martial artist, or I was in another life. I used to teach Kung Fu with my husband. Anyway, these are staffs. I don't know, but they call them wands. I actually would prefer to see wands, actual wands on these cards, but they call these things wands. But as you can see, there's a castle in the distance, and you've got a couple celebrating, and you've got the garlands above. So clearly we have something positive to celebrate. So I think what we now know then is that we're in preparation for something really positive, an improvement in our legacy, perhaps. So in our material aspects of life, you know, perhaps something that we've been working on will come to fruition, and it will bring us some income, maybe, or it will just create a better a living space for all of us. You know, he's got a lot of grapes all over him, so you know, clearly, you know, he looks at his abundance in some interesting ways. He only has 1 pentacle. You know, so his focus is on the land and on growing things and on creating sustenance and nourishment and all of that. So you know, that may be what we're really talking about. How are we nourishing ourselves? How are we creating comfort in our lives? You know, and so maybe that's what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the day. So cool. Well, we'll see if this thing actually is visible and you can see it and it's not blurry. I don't know. But, you know, go out there and think about your legacy and think about what you're doing and what you're creating for your life, and you know, cause a little destruction in preparation for transformation. Nothing wrong with that. You know, go clean out a bed somewhere, you know, and put some flowers in it. See, that's a positive thing, isn't it? A little Hagalaz energy for the day. So I won't see you tomorrow or Sunday, but I will see you on Monday, either here or over on the YouTube channel. So everyone have a lovely day and blessed be. And thanks for watching.